Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sylvia and Peter talking about mental health in general and mental health in business and the workplace in particular. As you know by now, we are covering different topics that other people are talking about or that we have talked about amongst ourselves. And sometimes we come back to topics we have dealt with before because they have either developed or they haven't. And in this case, we're looking at why the stats on mental health in the workplace or in general have not changed. We've been going on for a long time now. You can see on LinkedIn and everywhere else in the media that the statistics are the same on depression, on suicide, on anxiety, and the workplace mental health situation has not changed at all, if you believe the various studies that you see out there. Obviously, there are those companies who are brilliant, who do all the right things, and people love working for those companies. We just don't hear about them. So are the stats skewed, or are we focusing on the negativity for the sake of it? What do you think is going on, Sylvia?
It's quite sad from my point of view to hear that the stats haven't changed a great deal. And as you said, I think it's something that we have spoken about before. And there are a lot of companies that are doing some great things. But I do wonder whether why don't people talk? Why are things just the same? And it's a real curiosity, I think, from my point of view, a real wonder. If all of us had the silver bullet and the answer to that, it would be fantastic. But I still think it's wrapped up in stigma. I still think there is something there that people simply are reluctant to talk about, that they're struggling, which I find odd when, if they're in the workplace and they're struggling with a new piece of kit or a new procedure or a new policy or a new product, they will, get advice or guidance or seek help and how to move that forward. But if they're struggling, there is still a sense of people don't want to talk about it. And I get that, because it is a very private matter as well. But when organisations are still and even more so providing so many policies and procedures and EAPs and occupational health and all these things in place, and as I'm talking here, I wonder if it's something to do with, again, making it very clear in workplaces what support is available, where it is, and how to get it. I worked in a big organisation many, many years ago, and someone would say, well, look on the intranet. Well, there were hundreds of intranets. It's a really difficult question. Who do people talk to? Would they actually still go and talk to the line manager? Would they speak to a partner? Where would they speak to? And I think that's still a key question. Why don't people speak up? I don't know what you think, Peter. Really interesting.
Like you, Sylvia, I have the same experiences that people we talk to have chosen to talk. As late as this morning, I was contacted by somebody's wife because he did not want to talk to anybody in the family, including her, about his drinking problem. So there is a need to talk in some people, but they don't want to talk to the nearest and dearest because maybe embarrassment, maybe it's something to do with them that they would rather not talk about because the relationship is falling apart. Do you want to take that into the workplace? Do you want to talk to your mental health first aider there? I don't know. But if you look at some statistics, therapists fare very badly in terms of who people would talk to. Partners in life are at the top, then friends, and only at a third from bottom do therapists come in. Those of us who can actually come from the neutral corner and offer some help and support and different perspectives. But below that, you have line manager and colleagues. So there is a reluctance to talk at work about the problems. Maybe the problems are colleagues or the line managers. Of course, you can't talk to them about that because then it gets even worse. So is it trust? In general, is it trust? Who can I trust?
It's a big word, isn't it? Small word, big word, trust. Who do we trust with our personal stuff? In the workplace, it is difficult. I know from my own point of view, you know, do you speak to someone which then potentially affects the dynamic? Who's going to know? Who's going to find out? Yes, you can go and talk to a mental health first aider, but they are a first aider. They are not a therapist. They're not a mental health professional. They signpost to those. Do you talk to your line manager? Is that going to skew the relationship? Are people going to think differently of that person? Do you talk to a colleague? Same thing. Talk to family and friends. They may be part of the cause of it, and also that may change the dynamic of the relationship. But it's, I think it's even before that, Peter. I think it's overcoming our own inhibitions. I know many years ago when I didn't talk to people, is because I didn't believe and perhaps trust that anyone was strong enough to handle what I had to say. I was wrong when I did eventually go and speak to someone, but there is a trust in something very, very personal. And again, if we had some physical condition, again, we wouldn't divulge all the details. We may say we're going to the doctor because I need a few tests. We don't have to talk about everything to everyone. And I think sometimes it's our own inhibitions that hold us back. What do I need to say? What should I say to someone? We don't have to give all the details, but we can just say we're having some struggles. But I still think it does come down to that trust as to who we do talk to. And in the workplace, who do we talk to in the workplace? Because I personally think there is still that, I know, inhibitor, that fear, that worry, that concern. People are going to find out and people are going to talk about us. And that's a really big thing, I think, that does stop a lot of people talking.
I think you're right there, that it's about maybe our personal perception. Because a lot of people like yourself found that when you did talk to your line manager, it was actually an okay experience. We probably think that they think that we are then not good enough to be an employee. We can't be trusted. We can't be relied upon anymore if we reveal some issues and problems that we have. I've also spoken to so many other people who said that the line manager or their boss or this owner of a business, whoever he or she was absolutely fantastic, and they got all the support they needed because they dared to speak up. So maybe there is a case that we are making employers out to be some kind of green-eyed monsters that they're not, but it's a perception, it's not the reality. But when do we dare open up and test the system, test that theory?
Yeah, no, there's the question, you know, because if we do try it out and it backfires, and again, that's still a matter of perception. What do we do then? Where do we go then? Because as we both know, a lot of the times people will try to speak up, it doesn't work, and then they retreat into themselves even more. I still think there is something around. Interesting point you picked up there, you know, about employers. I wonder whether, as employees, also need to change their perceptions of employers. You know, employers, there are so many employers out there that provide so much good stuff, and people can be labelled, or that, you know, an employer doesn't do this and doesn't do that, but it's all there for an employee to use. That phrase literally just sprung to mind. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know, you can have all the wonderful policies in place and employees there to take it up, but it's still their choice whether they do so. At the same time, if they don't, where does that leave them? And, you know, you touched on mind reading. As human beings, many of us do tend to think, I know it's a mass generalization, but we're great at mind reading. If I say that, they'll do this, and if I do that, they'll do this. Why do we just give it a go and see what happens? Because surely that's better than being in a place of struggle. Surely it's better to try and do something rather than not try something at all.
One of my favorite themes is that business is not about business, it's about relationships.
Mm.
And any relationship has to be give and take for it to work. And if we get into the workplace expecting to have everything given to us in terms of mental health provision, mental health support, that sort of thing, and we don't have to do a thing, we just need to sit back and wait for it to happen, I think the employees have got it wrong. It has to be a give and take where you actually play along, you do your thing. You can't just expect to go into some sort of therapy room where everything is being done and delivered for you. That's not what it's about. It is about accepting that everybody's human beings, also those at the top, those at the bottom, and those in the middle. And we should accept that and respect each other for who we are. And that is not something that is just on the employer. It's on everybody. And I think we could get a lot further than where we are if everybody accepts that everybody has that little role to play in that big relationship.
What's come up for me there while you're talking is, we, in my opinion, similar to you, I get that we also have a responsibility and accountability to ourselves to seek that support, to get that support, to take action. It's, as you say, it's a two-way thing. Employers can provide some great support, but if employees don't take it up, then it's easy then to blame the employer. Oh, you've provided this, but only low percentage of take up. But where's the breakdown? We as individuals, we also have a responsibility to seek out that support. For example, if you have a heart problem or a rash come up on your skin, we take responsibility and we go to a doctor. Why is that sort of hesitancy to do the same with our mental health if we are struggling, or even if we just need to talk through something? We have a responsibility to ourselves to seek that support too, which I think sometimes, to your point, I think sometimes people, I don't know if they forget it, it's not in their conscious awareness, for them to actually to take action. I saw the other day a lovely, is it an acronym? ACT, Action Changes Things, and I thought that's pretty neat. I like that. So I think it's up to ourselves. If things aren't okay, just do something rather than nothing. Is that phrase, isn't it? If things don't change, they stop as they are. We need as individuals to do something about things when we're not at our best. And to your point, I think about business, the phrase that I often use, business is at risk if our people are not at their best. But it's a two-way thing. Employers can do all they can, but employees also have a responsibility to look after ourselves too. I believe my responsibility is also to look after me, and I take care of myself. We use that phrase, don't we, in language, take care of yourself, look after yourself.
We do.
Perhaps we need to bring that more up into our conscious awareness.
So it sounds as if our conclusion is it's not a one-way street. We all have a part to play. And it would be interesting for us to hear what kind of part you think that the actors in the business world should be playing. What do bosses need to do? What do employees need to do? So we've started the ball rolling, and we would love for you to kick it somewhere back in our faces, further down the field. We don't care. It's interesting to hear what you think. So thank you very much for listening, and see you in another video. Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye.